Hello and welcome to Garden Planning with a Biodynamic Moon Calendar for May 2024. My name is Katrina Wolf. My business is Blue Borage, and this is hopefully a guide to help people in New Zealand plan their late autumn gardening tasks. So, as always, with these monthly overviews, I recommend you start with your goals for the garden this month. Hopefully, you've got some goals for the garden for the year, and halfway through the year, hope you're tracking well. If you're not, then I hear a lot of people talking about slowing down for winter or not planting a winter garden. And I guess I'm lucky that because I'm self-employed, I can plan to be outside at the warmest part of the day. But even if you only have a weekend to focus on your gardening, I think there's so much that is possible in a lot of New Zealand winter climate. So, if it's helpful, then go check out this monthly garden planning tool. It's a free download, or you can just copy those headings, make up your own headings, and I encourage you to do a monthly reflection of how things are going. So, key dates for May from the biodynamic moon calendar. We've got full moon on Friday the 24th. New moon on Wednesday, the 8th. Moon opposite Saturn is Friday, the 17th. And then we start the month with 11 days in the descending period. Then we've got ascending from the 11th to the 26th, and then back to descending for 5 days. And then the nodes are on the 6th and the 20th. So if that's all you need to plan your gardening tasks, then you're welcome to click out here. It's hopefully just a couple of minutes. It's taken me to get to that point, and you get out in the garden as soon as possible. If you would like to download that PDF that I've created there, then that is over in my Ko-fi shop. So you can go load that up on your phone, as a home screen, on your computer, or print it out and add to a garden planner. So from here on in, let's look at the Blue Borage projects. So these are the same 7 gardens, are slightly different to last month. So the top left is soil farm. This is where I live. 2.5 years ago when I moved here, it was just a paddock. Bottom left is the Turco Museum. So I think that was almost 2 years. No, a year and 8 months that I saw it in the state and said, please, 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 can we stop spraying glyphosate? And I would love to plant a pollinator garden here. Top right is the inner city restaurant herb garden. Oh, I've got the wrong image on this slide. So this is the French Cafe on Simon Street. And then under that, I've got Tuako Library with the courtyard, Whangarata Community Hall, which is very close to where I live. I would love to use it as a venue regularly and have the Waikato District Council caring for the entire premises without any toxic weed killers. Then the bottom is Hazel's Garden. That's the house my daughter Jessica is renting. And then bottom right, this is a new picture here where I'm actually looking at Tuako Pokeno and how can I help people who live in this area, businesses that operate in this area, to be fully circular and learn how to compost everything possible on site. So a few pictures from the month. Top left, the soil farm. Oh, the flowers, the dahlias have been such a joy. Absolute joy. Bottom left, the museum is the weeds are feeding the pollinators more than the flowers. The dahlias are pretty much finished. Top right, the inner city restaurant herb garden. This is the French cafe with their new restaurant in Nice, which is modern Asian cuisine. And so I'm looking at their menu and going, how do we bring this to life in a garden? And so they got a brand new cafe lime tree last month. Then down the bottom, not much action on Whangarata. community hall at the Turco Library. I am popping up today. I'm recording this Monday, the 22nd of April. So the school holiday program is at the library today, and I want to go have a look at the worms with the children and the librarians. Bottom left, Hazel's garden. It's nearly exam season, and Jessica is booking flights for me to come down and help look after Hazel so that she can study. And then bottom right, Tuakau Pocono. At the moment, the composting that I'm doing is actually leaf mold and garden waste and food scraps for the French cafe and another event, which might be on the screen here. So Chef's Table was a Kai Franklin event, and oh my goodness, so yummy, so yummy. 4 different cafes, restaurants, each supplied one dish of the meal, and it was set up like a banquet dinner for over 100 people. And I got all the food scraps. It was actually only 17 litres in the end, and most of that was from the banana leaf that was under the beef cheek main dish. Okay, on the left there, those are the notes I made this time last month with my goals for April. And down the bottom, end of month reflections, I got all those biodynamic preparations made and in the ground. So happy with myself. The leaf mold processes are all nicely sorted. So that's ticking along. And the dahlias, I got half of them labeled. I think I got photos of every single dahlia flower. These are the biodynamic preparations. So how many horns did I get? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the manure was from a biodynamic farm just south of Hamilton. I'm so happy. It's like dream come true. I got to go to a biodynamic brick making day in Newstead. If you would like to learn when the next preparation making is happening, it could be spring when we dig everything up. Do get in touch. Then the 505, the one at the bottom, that's the dandelion preparation. 506, bottom middle, that is yarrow. The 50, no, it's not the yarrow. That's the chamomile, and that's actually that's not here at the soil farm. That's a photo I took at the prep making day. And then over on the right, this is the equisetum that I'm making to add into a tree paste. So we did some, Marine and Romaric did some pruning in the orchard, and my peach trees got some pruning done. And anytime we're doing some major cutting, I get that biodynamic tree paste onto the cuts. And I'll probably do another tree paste during winter. An equisetum is really good as a preventative measure against fungal diseases. Some other highlights of the month, with the days getting shorter, if I wake up and it's dark and I'm bored and I can't eat breakfast until the sun comes up because of my human design primary health system, I'm a daylight eater, then I potter around, and I've started doing some Agnihotra ceremonies just to mark that first moment of sunrise with the first light of the day. So the Agnihotra is cow manure with ghee and a rice offering. And once the fire is going, add the rice. Then there's a mantra that gets said as a sort of a morning or evening blessing at sunset and sunrise. This is a yellow admiral butterfly. It's on some basil mint, but I'm taking this as a sign that my nettle is known to the local admiral butterflies, which is so cool. At the moment, I'm eating Feijoas most days. On the right, this is food scraps from the French cafe in the city. And aren't they just so pretty? Like the shapes that they cut. It's just such a buzz. Bottom in the middle, this was the very end of Sophie's tomato harvest in St. Luke's, Sandringham. So I brought all the tomato vines home and am making compost with them. The other picture here, these dewdrops, this is another sort of morning meditation inspired by a conversation with James Milton, who I'm fingers crossed, I'm hoping to get on to Zoom to do a bit of an interview that I'll upload to YouTube. So stay tuned for that. This was the last day I saw Sophie before she set off for her new job in Sydney. And so I made my annual pumpkin pie treat. And yeah, we had a lovely afternoon tea together. Another highlight of the month was He Whenua, the Indigenous Seed Soil Food Sovereignty Symposium. And I have been in the same room as Vandana Shiva. It was a wonderful 3 days. And next up here is a cool collaboration coming up in May with Michael Dirth, who owns Badutsi. So this is one of his restaurants in the middle of the city in Wynyard Quarter. So he now has a carbon cycle compost box installed by Richard and Teresa. This is Tim on the right here, who also works for Carbon Cycle Composting. And we are doing a fun promotion for Badutsi and the Grove customers. So stay tuned for that. Also coming up in May is Organic Week from the 1st to the 7th. And I've been invited to talk about composting on the evening of the 6th of May. This is for Organic Week. Free event, so you can go to the Organic Week Facebook page or check their emails, go to their website and register for that. And then rolling on from that will be, or overlapping with it, is International Compost Awareness Week from the 5th to the 11th. I haven't quite decided what I'm doing for that week, but it'll probably include the Badutsi promotion, and I would love to do a 500 stir downtown somewhere. So goals for the month. Here at the Soil Farm, do a 500 stir. Really want to make some 503, the chamomile preparation, and I'm trying to find a source of bulk organic chamomile flowers. Having filled my horns with this beautiful biodynamic cow manure from a biodynamic dairy farm, it's like, oh, I want to find some organic cow manure close to home. French cafe, I'm still waiting to see if I can use the space for one-to-one garden coaching. If so, then I'll host regular CPP stirs there. And just to cut down on my travel, I am ready to find an assistant gardener to do some of the sweeping, watering, tidying, but under my supervision so that I can maintain the biodynamic protocols. If you know someone who would be interested, please get in touch. It is a paid role and they would be an independent contractor. And the one, not condition, but the one feature that may be off-putting for some people is that there is a beehive in the middle of the garden, and I sit with the bees for 5 minutes before I start gardening, and I'm very aware of how I move around the garden so that I'm not crossing their flight path. I have not yet been stung, and I'm nervous around bees, but I know some gardeners who have refused to work in that environment. On we go to Circular Tour Code project. I would love to create a Blue Borage guide for worm farming for the librarians to hand out. And then Whangara Community Hall, make leaf mold. I haven't actually been up, so I need to kind of schedule that into my week because the oak trees will be dropping huge amounts of leaves. My focus is starting to sort of head down to Hazel's garden, and I've got the Ōtepoti Dunedin weather forecast on my phone. So every now and then I'll swipe over and see what clothing I'm going to need to pack to head down there. It's so much colder. But while I'm down there, I would love to look at composting opportunities for student flats. So last trip I was down that way, I got a tour of the university campus, spoke with the head of the sustainability department, and I'll go pick up that conversation again. Over to the right-hand side, the museum pollinator garden. I do need help with weeding. We've got so much compost to make, and Kiwi Rail are waiting for a blog post summarizing the approach that I've taken. And so fingers crossed that once I have that blog written, I can start to get into conversation with someone who might come up and have a look at what we're doing, take some photos, and there could be a project. Who knows? We'll see. Tuaco Township, Richard and Teresa from Carbon Cycle Compost are coming out for a tour, and I would love for us to help businesses, schools, community groups, home gardeners, lifestyle block owners, anyone who wants to learn how to compost. We could be fully circular. And so with the Charter Centre, I will invite them to the Zoom presentation that Richard and Teresa will give on composting. So everything's kind of ticking forward bit by bit by bit. But in terms of taking those tasks and planning what to do when with the biodynamic calendar, let's see. I'm going down to Dunedin at the end of the month, so there's very little point planting seeds to then leave to die. So in May, I won't be seed sowing in the ascending period. I'll probably scatter some flower seeds through the garden and up at the museum. So starting the month with Organic Week and then International Compost Awareness Week. That 500 stir, I do want to schedule for the descending period. So that's going to have to be sometime between the 1st and the 11th. It'd be kind of cool to make it the Saturday, the 11th at the end of the descending period and make that the end of the Badootsy promotion, but we'll see what happens. So that 11th of May is also the final autumn prep making. I mean, a lot of times I have still done some prep making early in June that for your garden, if you've still got a few things to do in that last part of May, we're back in the descending period from the 26th onwards, then I think that's still autumn. Okay, what else have we got here? I'm going to do 2 museum workshops, so Thursday the 16th and Sunday the 19th. So that's sort of the chance to get a lot of tidy up done so that I can then go away babysitting. And then I've got my DIY Almanac calls. If you would like to join the DIY Almanac program, then once a month, kind of around the full moon when energy is high, then we do Saturday morning and Sunday evening Zoom calls with reflection questions where you can kind of check in and see how you're going with your plans for the year. So that is it. May summarized. And if you've watched this far, thank you for your attention. I hope it helps see that even if you're a relatively lazy gardener like me, or you don't have much time for your garden, that by chipping away a little bit each month, then over the course of the year, you can get a lot done. And as always, if you would like help planning your gardening tasks, please reach out by email, katrina@blueborage.co.nz, or head to my website and you should find all the links there. Otherwise, the description under this video will have more links of the different downloads and online programs. So happy gardening and thanks for being here.